When women are attracted but hiding it, they use 5 specific behaviors. Most men miss every single one. What's the first behavior? They create reasons to be near you. Here are all 5 decoded. 1. The indifference illusion. So that first behavior, the one that looks like she's ignoring you, it's not what you think. I've seen this confuse more smart, capable men than I can count. A woman he's interested in will be pleasant, maybe share a brief smile, but then she just doesn't engage. She doesn't seek him out. To him, it feels like a cold shoulder, a clear sign he should move on. But from our perspective, it's often the exact opposite. This deliberate, low-key interaction is a test of its own. She's placing you in a social petri dish to see how you behave when you're not the absolute center of attention. Is your confidence so fragile it needs her constant validation to exist? Or are you a man who is solid, who can occupy his own space without needing anyone to prop him up? Think about the last community event or social gathering you attended. You notice a woman, share a brief introduction. Later, you see her across the room. She's engaged in another conversation. She doesn't immediately turn to seek you out with her eyes. Most men read that as a dismissal. Here's the mini aha moment. She's often acutely aware of where you are. She's observing your posture, listening to the tone of your laughter, watching how you interact with others. She's gathering critical data, just not with a spotlight on you. It's a quiet assessment of your social calibration and inherent confidence. Why does this happen more with women our age? We've had decades of experience with men who perform for an audience versus men who simply are the real deal. The performance is exhausting. The real deal is magnetic. So if she seems indifferent, the question isn't, is she interested? The real question is, what is she actually looking for in those quiet moments of observation? Because once you pass that initial unspoken test, her strategy shifts. She moves from passive observation to active intelligence gathering. And that's when you'll see the second shocking behavior kick in, the one I call the investigator. 2. The investigator. So she strikes up a conversation. It seems casual. How do you know the host? Or what did you think of the speaker? But here's the trap most men fall into. They start reciting their resume. They talk about their job, their recent vacation, their car. They're trying to impress with a checklist of achievements. That's the wrong target. A woman in her 50s, 60s, or beyond isn't interviewing you for a job. She's assessing a partner. Her questions are just the delivery system. What she's actually listening for is the subtext, the story behind your story. Let me give you a specific example. Suppose she asks, so what did you get up to this weekend? You could say, I played 18 holes, shot an 85, then I detailed my car. It's a list of facts. It's closed off. Alternatively, you could say, I finally got out on the golf course. The weather was perfect. And I'll be honest, I spent a few hours giving the car some TLC. There's something satisfying about that hands-on work. This reveals enjoyment, a sense of care, a personality. She's listening for your passion, your values, your emotional tone. Do you light up when you talk about your interests? Are you bitter when mentioning your ex? Are you arrogant about your accomplishments? Your physique and presence got her attention, but your character keeps it. This is where your life experience is a massive advantage. You have stories, you have depth. The key is to share the why behind the what. Don't just say you're fit. Mention you love the clarity a morning walk brings to your day. That speaks volumes about your discipline and state of mind. She's piecing together a profile of your emotional landscape. Is this a man of substance? Or is he just a collection of trophies? You can feel when this shift happens. The conversation gets deeper. She might share something slightly personal in return. That's your signal you're on the right track. But here's the thing. Her conscious mind can be perfectly guarded in conversation. The real truth, however, often leaks out in ways she can't fully control. Nationer 3. The unconscious green light, the tell. All right, so her words are measured, but her body? It often can't lie. This is where all that social observation pays off. You're looking for brief, unconscious signals that slip past her guard. These aren't dramatic movie scenes. They're subtle. First, watch her feet and shoulders. If you approach and her torso or feet pivot slightly toward you, even if her head is turned talking to someone else, that's a green light. The body orients toward what it wants. Next, the quick fix. After you say something that lands well, watch for a fleeting touch to her own neck, her collarbone, or a swift smoothing of her hair. It's a self-soothing gesture, a tiny release of nervous energy you created. But the most reliable sign? Mirroring. You take a sip of your drink, and a moment later, she does too. You lean against the wall, she shifts her posture to match. Her subconscious is signaling rapport and connection. It's a silent echo of agreement. Now, a quick win you can use today: stop scanning the whole room when you're with her. Give her the gift of your full, calm attention. Your focused presence is more powerful than any line you could deliver. It makes her feel seen, and that's a rare commodity. Master this, and you'll see the signals clearly. But a word of warning, this is where a lot of men get overconfident. They see the green lights and think it's time to shift into high gear to start selling themselves. That instinct? It's the fastest way to kill the very attraction you've just built, because there's a fourth behavior coming that feels like a rejection, but is actually her final and most important test. And if you don't see it for what it is, you will walk away from a woman who was absolutely interested, convinced you read the situation all wrong. On 4, the test, the controversial one. So you've seen the signs. The conversation is flowing, the connection feels real. Then out of nowhere, she throws a small obstacle in your path. She might say, "You're certainly confident, aren't you?" with a slight edge. Or she'll mention how busy her schedule is for the next few weeks. She might gently challenge an opinion you just shared. Most men panic. They see the wall going up and they start scrambling. They backtrack. They over-explain. They try to prove they're not that confident, or they immediately offer to work around her impossible schedule, folding their own needs to appease her. It feels like a rejection. It's designed to. But it isn't. This is the test, the final one, and it's the most important filter a woman our age uses. She isn't pushing you away because she's lost interest. She's creating a moment of tension to see what you're made of. She needs to know if the confidence you've projected is real or just a performance for her benefit. Does your sense of self depend on her approval? I'll be honest with you. This is where a man's lifetime of experience either becomes his greatest asset or his biggest liability. A younger man might get defensive or needy. A man who's been through the ringer? He stays steady. He doesn't crumble. He doesn't get angry. He holds his ground with a calm smile. If she teases, he playfully teases back. If she says she's busy, he simply says, "No problem. My schedule has its busy patches too. Let's touch base when things calm down." He demonstrates that his world, his value, is solid, with or without her immediate validation. That's the aha moment. Her greatest fear isn't a man who isn't perfect. It's a man who is emotionally fragile, whose entire mood depends on her. That's exhausting. Your unshakable calm in the face of her small test is the ultimate proof you're not that guy. You pass by simply not failing, by being unrattled. Knowing this changes everything. It turns a moment of doubt into a moment of supreme advantage. But understanding the theory is only half the battle. The real question is, how do you integrate this? How do you build that unshakable core from the inside out so it's not an act, but who you genuinely are? That's our final piece, and it's the most practical part of all. 5, the integrated man, your action plan. So let's get to it. How do you become the man who naturally passes these tests? It's not about memorizing a script. It's about building an unshakable foundation from the inside out. First, shift your focus from getting approval to living your approval. Your mission, your health, your interests, they come first. That isn't selfish. It's the source of your magnetic energy. A woman joins that journey. She doesn't become the destination. Second, upgrade your self-talk. The voice in your head dictates your presence. You've lived long enough to have a lifetime of evidence for your strength. Focus on that. When you stop doubting yourself, you stop looking for others to believe in you. They'll feel it. Now, you might be thinking, "I'm too old to reinvent the wheel." Wrong. You're the perfect age. At 60, 65, 70 plus, you're not competing with the 30-year-olds. You're standing out from the 85% of men your age who gave up. That is a massive advantage. Your maturity, your stories, your hard-won perspective, that's your edge. Own it. So start today. Not tomorrow. Your action plan is simple. 1, own your space. Walk into a room like you belong there because you do. Head up, shoulders back. Your physique work pays off here. 2, listen to understand, not to reply. This makes her feel truly heard. 3. Hold your frame. When the test comes, breathe. A slight, calm smile. Your stability is your superpower. Forget trying to be perfect. Aim for being present, grounded, and genuinely engaged. That's the integrated man. If you remember nothing else, remember this. Her behaviors are a response to the energy you project. Indifference tests your confidence. Questions probe your character. The final challenge measures your inner strength. You have everything you need to master this. The time for watching is over. The time for living it begins right now. So remember that 82% statistic from the beginning? Now you understand the why behind it. You can spot the indifference that's really assessment, decode the questions that probe your character, recognize the physical tells, and navigate the final test with unshakable calm. You're 60, 65, 70 plus. That's not a disadvantage. It's your leverage. You have a depth younger men are still scrambling to build. If you want more of this, no fluff insights on physique, fitness, and authentic attraction for men like us, then subscribe to the channel. I post new videos every week to help you maintain your edge. Hit the bell so you don't miss them. Your lifetime of experience is an asset. Pair it with this knowledge, and your presence becomes your greatest advantage. The goal was never to impress everyone. It was to connect with the right one.